Okay, I haven't done a video in a while on Cody Garrett, aka the Donut Operator, and I thought this would be a good video to take a look at. Now, we've done videos on him before, and we pointed out that he is pro-police, and if you're pro-police, you're anti-gun. And this guy says he's pro-Second Amendment, but we know that law enforcement agents do take away your rights and your freedoms if you have a firearm in a community where it's illegal to have a firearm. So that is decidedly anti-gun. This guy is pro-drug war, which means if you're pro-war on drugs, you're pro-war against the American people, because the war is not on drugs. Drugs don't go to prison. Drugs don't get locked up. Drugs don't get fingerprinted. But people who want to put substances in their bodies, and by the way, if you're not free to put a particular substance in your body, then you are not free. Just a little bit of background on Cody Garrett. He's an American influencer and former police officer. He served at the Spartanburg Police Department in South Carolina for 2 years until 2017. He said that he was making more money being a YouTuber, which I don't doubt that. He's got 5 million subscribers and gets tons of views on every video that he releases. But this is his perspective, and I wanted to go over his latest video where he talks about two particular cases, and I think he's being unfair about this because he's not looking at all the details. He says he loves the Baltimore jump out crew, which I don't know if you remember, but the Memphis jump out crew terrorized and annihilated and ended up destroying an individual named Tyree Nichols. These jump out crews actually act more above the law than regular traffic cops. Let's go ahead and take a look at this video that he's narrating, and let's see what kind of direction he's going in.
Tripping, dog. Hey, what's up? You got some shit or what?
Hey, he's got a gun. He's got a gun. Back up, back up.
Hi everyone, Donut here. I am back with a new video about Baltimore. What a wonderful place.
Machine is never wrong, son.
Today we're going to be talking about Baltimore Jump Out Boys, some of my favorite boys. We also have a video where a pretty chunky boy gets dropped after not dropping a deadly weapon.
By the way, some attribute the high crime rate in Baltimore to the stringent gun laws. According to Everytown USA, it ranks 8th in the country for gun law strength. In other words, anti-Second Amendment laws prevail in Baltimore, Maryland. It says carrying a handgun, whether openly or concealed, is prohibited except in limited events such as hunting, or unless one has a permit to carry a gun or is on their own property or their own place of business. So it's highly regulated. And it just sounds like, and he would have to correct me if I'm wrong, but it just sounds like the possession of a gun, if somebody possesses a gun, it's okay for the Baltimore police to basically hunt you down.
Olds can hold many a weapon.
I immediately know how it could have been avoided.
I don't want to spoil that video, but holding on to shooty shoots for too long while police are telling you not to hold on to shooty shoots might get you lit up.
Yeah, I agree. That's not a good idea. If you have a firearm in your possession and a cop thinks you have a firearm in your possession, it's not a good idea to be brandishing it or holding it in any way, because that could end up with you being summarily expired.
June 26, 2024, Pomona, California.
Pomona.
911 receives calls with people saying, hey, they're gang members at the Deluxe Motel holding people up. They got a gun and they're robbing people.
Gang members at the Deluxe Motel. I just want to kind of switch roles here. When I see a patrol unit with the cherries and berries activated stopping an individual, that's an armed man, an armed state agent who is enacting a traffic law, I see that as criminal activity just as much as I see criminal activity if there were regular street criminals, you know, aside from the badged clowns. If there's a regular street criminal who's holding people up, stealing their property, jeopardizing their lives, the traffic harassment by an armed state functionary is just as much harassment as the criminal activity going on possibly at this Deluxe Motel.
There's two gang members from Cherryville, street gang. They're in the Deluxe Motel, standing out. They got guns and drugs, and they're threatening people, robbing people, they're disrespecting people. They're out in front. They're out in the motel. They have.
First of all, if you're going to be a part of a gang, don't let it be called the Cherryville Street Gang. That just sounds
A gang injunction.
Corny.
And the boys to go get them.
In case you didn't catch that, yes, there are armed criminals holding people up at the Deluxe Motel, aka the Deluxe Inn. If you couldn't tell,
There are armed criminals holding people up every single day to the tune of $6.2 to $6.8 billion every single year just in speeding tickets alone. That's armed, badged criminality.
tell by the name already, Deluxe Motel is probably a fucking shithole. It's a place where you can get bed bugs, AIDS, and robbed all in one spot. Now, trust me when I say this is not a place you want to be called to as an officer, but you're going to be called there every day. What I'm saying is if you buried crack in the ground, this place would grow from it. I'm about 100% sure the walls here are held together by bed bugs. So these officers make their way to the Crack Garden Inn. That's where they make contact with our suspect.
Hey, take a seat on the curb, man. Hey! Take a seat on the curb!
Now, we don't know the whole story. I don't know why this particular person is a suspect. I mean, what did he do wrong? What was the crime they suspect him of committing? Did they at least have the minimal standard of reasonable articulable suspicion? Did they have probable cause? Does this person not have the right to be secure in his person?
Take your hands out of your jacket. Take your hand out of your jacket.
On the curb!
One at gunpoint. He's refusing to comply. Hey, get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now. Get on the ground now.
Hands up! Back away, I'm not...
Get on the ground now. Get your hand out of your jacket. Get on the ground now. Get in. Hey, get on the ground now.
Back away, dog.
Get on the ground now.
Come on, dog, I'm not even tripping.
Hey, get on the ground.
This dude seems pretty brave to walk away from officers with his hands in his pocket. You don't normally want to do that. He's also telling cops to back the f away. Smart. I hate to judge books by their covers, but here, let's take a look at this fine, upstanding, tax-paying citizen.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is a bad idea.
Yeah, that's him.
First of all, being a taxpayer isn't noble. It isn't virtuous. And when I see a picture like this with this guy all tatted up, I don't see this guy any different than I see a roided up cop with sleeve tattoos all over him.
Seriously, if you're at the Deluxe Inn...
By the way, this guy couldn't possibly do as much damage as a regular American patrol officer. Doesn't have the capacity for it, doesn't have the resources for it, doesn't have the backup to initiate the kind of criminality that a badged uniform clown does.
See this guy, just sleep at the bus stop instead.
You're going to die.
Pomona officers keep pursuing him, and he decides to take some of the funniest cover I've ever seen a suspect take.
Get on the ground. Take your hand in your pocket. Hey.
Basically, he hides behind this pole. I don't want to belabor this, but it is kind of funny that he hides behind this street pole.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here. Being a subject matter expert when it comes to police interactions, I just got to say, I don't know if that's enough cover for that fat.
He's fat and he's stupid?
That doesn't stop the suspect from escalating the situation, which, as you can guess, happens next.
What's up?
The suspect is not the only one escalating the situation. As a matter of fact, the suspect isn't even the one who initiated the situation. We don't even know if this guy is guilty or not. So when people automatically take the position of the law enforcement agent, and if you look under Donut Operator's video, you see comment after comment talking about how great the cops are and how cruddy this suspect is. Do you realize that every single cop in the country will look at you as a suspect and not as a human being, not as a fellow American, not as somebody who's innocent until proven guilty, but rather guilty until proven innocent? That's what I can't stand about these Donut Operator videos. It paints the regular American who's non-law enforcement out to be the bad guy, and the law enforcement individual automatically is the hero.
You got my paperwork?
Hey, he's got a gun. He's got a gun.
Back away.
Back up. Back up.
Look, I'm not even tripping, dog. Back away. It's cool. I'm not even tripping, dog. I'm not hurting nobody.
Hamilton and Holt. He's walking southbound.
Can I enjoy it?
Hey, get on the ground.
Bro, leave me alone. Come on, dog. I'm not even tripping.
Hey, get on the ground, dude. You're not going anywhere, dog. Get on the ground. Hey, get on the ground. Hey, get on the ground. Hey, watch out, watch out, watch out.
As you can see right there, the suspect is indeed tripping because he pulls a gun out. After that, officers followed.
Suspect. Now, he could have committed a crime. We don't know. He could be guilty, but he also could be a victim of law enforcement aggressiveness and brutality and the policies and procedures that underpin all of American law enforcement.
The suspect. They still try to reason with him while he continues to disobey orders from the officer. That's when the officers pull out the ouchie rounds, you know, them bean bags that hurt pretty goddamn bad. They use the bean bags to try and force him to comply.
I got the car, sir. Watch car, watch car. Watch car.
In his hoodie pocket.
Yeah, in hoodie pocket.
You get here?
Right hoodie pocket, right hoodie pocket.
So they just deployed one bean bag.
Let me know how close we are. Put the gun down!
From what we can see, the first round is pretty ineffective to the suspect, probably because of his big bone. He's got a lot of cushion there, a lot of padding.
Hey, fatty, you are fat.
So officers try it a second time.
In your hand! Drop it in your hand! Drop the gun or you're gonna get that. Drop it in your hand!
Now they keep saying drop the gun that's in your hand, but clearly, from my perspective, all he's got is a can of beer or some kind of, you know, can of soda or something in his hand. He transferred it to the other hand, showing that they keep telling him to drop the gun in his hand, but he doesn't get the gun in his hand until after they say drop the gun in your hand. Listen again.
Drop it in your hand! Drop the gun or you're gonna get that.
Drop the gun.
What's in your hand? Drop the gun or you're gonna get that. Hand in his pocket! Your hand in your pocket!
Now he produces the gun.
So you back? Gun in his hand! Drop it! Drop it now!
Now you can tell he's got a hold of the firearm by the handle. It doesn't look like he's near the trigger, but this is a stupid idea. You never want to pull out a firearm when you've got all these worked up cops. They're already pumped up on adrenaline and probably steroids or whatever's going on with them in their life. They probably, you know, had a bad day or whatever, and they're just itching to pull the trigger on somebody. Not a good idea to do this.
Drop the gun!
You got big back.
Drop that gun, dude!
That was a good shot. This is where they end him.
998, 998.
Hey, move to the right, move to the right!
998 shots fired.
Officers missed the suspect with the last beanbag round. It looks like they knock a Colt 45 out of his hand. Not the gun kind, the kind that they brew in the toilet. It tastes like piss.
Works every time.
The suspect responds with aiming his gun at officers. Smart. That only has one outcome, and that's pretty much getting shot all to shit. Let's take another look where he charges the officers. He charges the officers while pointing a gun at them. The suspect went down, officers try to render aid, and like many of these stories where he pointed a gun at a police officer, he died later in the hospital from coronary heart failure. I'm just kidding, they shot him a lot of times. Keep in mind this dude had about 1 million chances to drop his weapon. Honestly, I can't believe officers even let him wave it around as much as they did.
He didn't even have it in his hand very long. He didn't have 1 million chances to drop his weapon. Yeah, he should have never pulled it out. That was a bad move on his part, and it ended with him not being here anymore.
But California, am I right? I just feel kind of bad for the owner of this poor innocent car that happened to be there.
Yeah, and nobody, that is not going to come out of the paycheck of any police officer. The city probably won't even pay for it. And if the city does pay for it, then the taxpayer gets to pay for his own car, or at least part of his own car.
Vehicle bystander, you might say. And to our final video, I told you there were going to be some jump out boys. Probably some of the wildest jump out boys in the entire country. Yes, we're talking about Baltimore jump out boys. They have to deal with a lot of shenanigans. August 5th, 2024, Baltimore, Maryland,
Oh, the jump out crew doesn't engage in and incite and initiate a bunch of shenanigans. It's like that doesn't even exist. That's not even on the table to be considered with the donut operator.
9:15 p.m. Members of the Baltimore's Group Violence Unit were patrolling an area. They were investigating an area where there had been a shooting only an hour prior. Officers stated that they noticed a man moving around his waistband and they thought they saw a gun.
That was a penis.
Because officers in this unit are trained specifically to look for people who have firearms, which is basically everyone in Baltimore.
Carry that for protection, man. That's it.
Sir, your life in danger?
Man, everyone life in danger, man. It's Baltimore.
They decide to stop the man and investigate a little bit further. Now, the body camera footage that we're going to take a look at first is from the perspective of the officer who first walks up to the man and tries to question him. And wouldn't you guess it, the guy's not very chatty.
Now remember, a crime had happened an hour prior. An hour later, they've made contact with this guy, and they don't have any reasonable, articulable suspicion or probable cause to believe that this particular guy had committed a crime. And all they saw was a gun in his hand, because cops are more than eager to violate somebody's Second Amendment right. If a cop's got the right to own a gun, but you don't have the right to own a gun in Baltimore, Maryland, then we don't have a Second Amendment that's the supreme law of the land. And cops are more than willing to trash that right.
Now, that was the first officer who was attempting to catch up to the guy and talk to him a little bit. Slow him down, maybe do a little Terry stop. To see everything that happened, though, we're going to slow down a little bit. And you can see that the suspect was, in fact, armed and trying to pull a firearm on the officers.
Do a little Terry stop. A Terry stop is officer safety trumps your individual rights. That's what a Terry stop is. Having a firearm does not equal committing a crime or doing something wrong, even if you're... I better not say that, because there's no legal counsel being given in this video right here. But if you are in possession of a gun where they say you can't be in possession of a gun, well, then that probably fits with Marbury versus Madison, which says all laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void.
As you may know, it's very rare that Jump Out boys are alone, and as you can see in this footage, during the struggle, backup started to arrive.
Get on the ground, you make a shot! Get on the ground! Make a shot! I will shoot you! I will shoot you! Get on the ground!
I mean...
Yeah, who's not going to stop when you say, get on the ground or I will shoot you? Of course, he's definitely incentivized to stop when you threaten him like that.
I'm good.
Whoa!
But once the suspect draws his weapon, all hell breaks loose.
Whoa! Ceasefire! 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 Back up! Back up!
From the footage,
Something that Donut Operator never seems to consider in his videos is, what if the guy that the cops are after is innocent and he's trying to protect himself as a defense mechanism, and he's using a weapon to try to, you know, make more room for his individual liberties. Now, is this a good idea? No, it's absolutely not a good idea to pull a gun on a cop. You know what's going to happen. Even if you're able to make it out of the first wave of cops, they will find out who you are. They will hunt you down. They will exhaust and deploy resources and manpower to bring you to bear. So no, it's not a good idea. But what if the guy is innocent? That's never considered. Automatically, from what I've seen, in the mind and the eyes and from the viewpoint of Donut Operator, if the cop is chasing you, you are guilty. And that is the fundamental flaw in this guy. So he plays a couple of clips from different angles where this guy is filled full of HOLES.
once the suspect was relieved of his firearm, he was given first aid and transferred to the hospital. The 3 officers who were involved in the shooting have been put on paid vacation. Whether or not the officers used excessive force is under investigation by the Baltimore Police Department. What do you guys think about this one though? Was it too excessive? Let me know in the comments. Was it enough force used? Were the officers lucky to come out of this incident without being injured?
So that is Donut Operator. Those are the perspectives, and automatically the person who the cops are pursuing is viewed as the suspect and guilty, when could be that he's an innocent victim. Leave your thoughts about this for the World and the Global Thought Police in the comments section below. What do you think about Donut Operator? Do you think his assessments are fair, or do you think they're obscured by his police background and his willingness to bow down to the thin blue line? Donut operator Cody, if you're out there and you want to do a live stream, I'd be glad to ask you a couple questions. In my opinion, I don't think that you can answer them from the moral foundation, because there is no morality found in police departments if they're going to initiate unjust, evil, immoral, cruel, and wicked laws against people. And that is part of what their oath is all about. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, grab a shirt, become a channel member. But more importantly, understand that freedom is dangerous. The only thing more dangerous is not having freedom. I will see you in the next video.